Oh yeah, one down the hole.
Dead.
Hold on.
Four remaining. Step on. Op 4 neutralized.
What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of C2PRO, a series where I'll be trying to go from zero experience to a professional Siege player in less than 6 months. So for today's episode, I'm going to be showing you guys just how you can start to win more gunfights and hopefully in turn start to win more of your ranked games or whatever it is that you play. So just a little heads up, this is kind of aimed towards people that are more beginning with Siege and FPS in general maybe. For those of you who already consider yourselves to be relatively advanced gamers, this might not necessarily be for you, but there still is some good content in there, so yeah. So let's jump straight into it, guys. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be breaking down gunfights and winning more gunfights into 4 simple steps that you guys can then implement in your own time to help you win your gunfights and engagements. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about are headshots. Okay, so headshots in Siege have a 40 damage multiplier. So that means that if your gun does, let's say, 10 damage, if you shoot them in the head, it gets times by 40, so that means the gun's damage will actually do 400. So the actual HP of a character in Siege is 100 HP, and most guns do a lot more damage than 10. So basically what I'm saying is, any gun from any range through any surface, if it hits you in the head, you are going to die. Likewise, if you shoot anybody in the head from anywhere, you are going to get that kill. So what I want you guys to take from this is, before you start worrying about anything else in terms of gunfights in Siege, you need to be aiming for the head. I know that might sound silly, but you will be so surprised. Even the standard that I play at, which is Gold 1, people are still aiming for the chest, still pre-aiming doors at chest height, you know, and it's the fastest way to lose a gunfight. So while keeping that in mind, we can now move on to the more juicy parts of the tutorial, which will actually give you some kind of actionable advice. Oh, I don't have repels, what? Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is body positioning, okay, and a little thing that I like to call power positions. So the idea behind this is basically when you're fighting with someone, you always want to try and keep as little of your body visible as possible. So if you have a ledge or a box, if you can make it so that just your upper chest and above is showing, that's the position you should take in that gunfight, rather than just standing, you know, maybe a foot out to the right where you don't have any cover at all. Use cover, okay? Give them the smallest target possible for them to try and lock onto. So then a power position is just kind of, every now and again you're going to find these spots that just work really, really well. So for example, this clip with Thermite, you can see that I'm repelled just below the top of the wall. So literally all these guys can see is this little peanut floating around shooting at them. Whereas I've got full view of their entire body, so I'm really the one that's going to be winning those gunfights every single time, unless there's some crazy godlike player that can just flick me before I can flick them, you know. So practicing this sort of positioning in each game and each gunfight, and just trying to be mindful of how much of your body is showing at any time, is really going to make you a harder target to hit, and in turn it's going to make you win more gunfights. So again, this is quite a simple one, but people do not get it, and people do not practice it. You want to be head glitching things where they can't see your entire body and you can see them, or even if both of you guys are on a head glitch, at least you're not the one that's out of cover, you know? Okay, so now that we've talked a little bit about basic body positioning as well as headshots, I want to speak to you guys about predicting common enemy spots, right? So I'm sure you guys, depending on how long you've played, you've probably started to notice that there's certain people and there's certain spots on each map that 9 times out of 10 an enemy's going to be there. Whether it's because it's a really important choke on that site, so someone has to protect it, or else it's just somewhere that people just tend to be. You can usually almost assume that there will be a player there and kind of make your plays based on that assumption. So that's kind of complex, right? And there is a lot of layers to it, and it does depend on the level that you play at as to the unpredictability of the enemy. But just in general, really start to pay attention to where you're dying from. So who's killing you, what spot are they using, and how often have you been killed from that spot? Did you die because you didn't land the headshot, you missed shots and they just ended up getting the shot, or did you die because they had the far superior position? So by kind of being mindful in a certain sense of how you're dying and where you're being killed from, and even when you're killing people, you do start to pick up on these sort of things, and you start to figure out these kind of common spots that enemies tend to be in. So once you start to get that down, you can really start banking on the fact that there's going to be an enemy there, and thus already be kind of aiming there as you turn the corner, so you don't have to make that rash kind of like just fast flick reaction because you weren't looking there at all. You're already going to be aiming there, and as soon as you see the head, you just take the shot. So there's a good example here with Ash. So I actually didn't hear that lesion just then. Sorry, I didn't predict that lesion to be there. I heard him. So that wasn't anything crazy. But here with the mirror, again, that might look like it was lucky, like I turned the corner and she just happened to be there, but we'd cleared out our whole back basement side. So someone's always holding that mirror spot, looking at Hatch and the fridge stairs. So it was a pretty easy decision for me to turn that corner, and if you actually look, I'm shooting before I even see her. So by starting to learn where these enemies are going to be coming from, you will in turn be able to start winning more of them gunfights, because it's just going to take the element of surprise out of it. So the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about really quickly is just be very careful with sprinting, okay? So when you sprint, obviously you can't fire a gun while sprinting during Siege, so you actually have to come out of your sprint and then re-aim, readjust onto the opponent before you can actually take that shot. So I know this again, this might sound silly, but God, the amount of times I've seen people sprint around corners or chase an enemy. I actually have a clip right here. I seen the enemy jump through the window, went to chase her out the door, and she'd obviously heard me, or maybe I got called out, but before I could actually get out of my sprint and take the shot on her, she managed to win that gunfight immediately. So this is just a general tip, but I'm telling you guys, be very cautious with how much you're sprinting in this game. Don't sprint around corners. Always aim the corner. Don't sprint after enemies. You know, if you're running into a bomb site, stop sprinting a little bit more than you think you should. Just stop sprinting before you turn the corner. Just start aiming it, because if you sprint around the corner, I guarantee you that is the fastest way you're going to lose a gunfight, aside from getting shot in the head. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. They were just some really basic tips, but just an overall beginner's guide to winning more gunfights in Rainbow Six Siege. I definitely have plans in the future to do a more advanced guide for those higher level players, and also next week I will be doing a basic guide on how you guys can start to improve your accuracy, like your actual pinpoint accuracy, so to help you out with them headshots. So if you're excited for that sort of stuff, please press subscribe and hit the like if you found any sort of use to this video. It really does mean a whole lot. And I do stream every single day on Twitch. Guys, the links are in the description below if you want to follow this entire journey. It's a whole lot of fun. So yeah, with that, I will see you on Friday for the next episode. Peace out, guys.